Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, I'm going to do a bit of a dual review. I'm going to do the Year of the Snake Platinum Edition Omega Supreme, and I'm going to go ahead and just do a G1 Omega Supreme review too, just for fun. Just so I can combine these two guys, because I think they're going to go well together. Anyway, as you can see, the Platinum Edition totally dwarfs G1 Omega Supreme. At least his box does. I'm going to go ahead and open up his box so you can get a little bit of a better view of the toy himself. And as you can see, on opening the box here, we got a huge size difference between these two guys. Absolutely huge. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get a G1 Omega Supreme out of the way. That way you can see the this box a little bit better. So, basically it just opens up. There's a big flap here. We got some cool artwork and we got some stuff about Omega Supreme. And here on the side, got some more artwork. Back here we got him, we got his tech specs, got photo of him. We got some photos here of him combining with the repaint of Energon, Optimus Prime. Just says Transformers Platinum Edition there. And there's the front of the box. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the in-package portion of what we're talking about here. So I will be back in a flash to see what this guy is like when he's out of the box. Alright guys, here we have G1 Omega Supreme in his base mode. And I gotta say, I think this mode is a ton of fun for Omega. I really like the way his base mode looks. It has a bunch of features in it, and you know, it's great as like maybe a playset for, you know, some other Transformers. So it has a ton of playability and it looks good, and it's honestly just a lot of fun. If you remember on the G1 cartoon all the time when Omega would transform and like they'd use him as transport a lot. So of course that piece right here, this rocket, is what they would always go to other planets in. They never explained how the rest of Omega got to the planet, but you know, it was the G1 cartoon, so there wasn't exactly a lot of explanation or consistency. And my favorite feature of this mode is actually, of course, what Omega, the train part, can do himself. Switch this bad boy on. And it goes around the track. That is, when I was a kid, that absolutely delighted me, and I still like that now. I think it's a pretty cool feature. It's definitely not something we see in modern Transformers, so I really like it. I can't overstate how much I like this thing, especially the fact as he's traveling around, his head lights up, and he, you know, his gun moves. I love that, and his, you know, head rotates. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut him down because he's pretty noisy. And like I said, this just to me looks great. I mean, you can have other Transformers interact with this mode real well. I'll just grab a few deluxes from behind the shelf here. And basically, you know, they can kind of hang out and use them as a base, which, you know, that's great interactivity. Like I said, I really can't overstate how much I like this mode. I'm going to go ahead and grab some pieces from Energon. I'm sorry, the Platinum Edition Year of the Snake Omega Supreme. Anyway, here is part of basically one half of him. He's a train with a crane, I guess. I don't really much care for this. I don't know, you know, it doesn't really look like a whole lot of much of anything. I mean, you can operate his hand and he can grab stuff, but basically it just looks like half of his robot mode folded down, and it's not really well disguised, but it's there. You know, his mode doesn't do a lot. It sort of rolls, but his head interferes with him rolling a little bit. Now he does have some, oops, he does have some swing out guns in this mode. He's got one here, and he's got another one over here. So you can arm the whatever this is up. His other half, in my opinion, does form a much better vehicle. It forms a battleship, which I think is pretty neat. And let me just go ahead and bring that in. And that's what it looks like. It just looks like a it's just a battleship. It's got some pretty good detailing on it, I think. I really like the way this thing looks. It's, in my opinion, pretty cool. It, of course, has the swing-out guns as well on it. And it's just got a ton of guns. He's got some missiles, and they fire. And, yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up his vehicle mode. Now, it does combine, in his two halves combine together, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not super impressed with it. They call it the Armored Cybertronian Super Train. This thing is pretty long, so it's... Let me just move the camera back here a little bit so I can try to get the whole thing in frame. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of a hot mess, but there it is. Honestly, though, the highlight of this guy isn't his vehicle mode. It's really more his robot mode, obviously. But I do like the battleship. I mean, it looks like a naval slash starship. It's even got the big sci-fi boosters there in the back. I really like that. It's a nice touch. I do like the way this part of them looks. I'll be back in a flash to go over the robot modes with these guys, and also combine Omega with Energon Optimus Prime. Hey guys, welcome back. Here we have G1 Omega Supreme and the Year of the Snake Platinum Edition Omega Supreme transformed and into their respective robot modes. Now, the way I have G1 Omega Supreme is not exactly the official transformation. They don't recommend you have all his tracks on his back. You got a couple of different options for how you want to do this. You can, of course, just remove these other pieces, and he has a lot less stuff on his back. I just wanted to do that because I think it looks a little bit impressive, and I thought it was good for the establishing shot. And honestly, the G1 toy, I really like it. It's pretty good. He's got some decent articulation. His head can rotate. He doesn't have much going on in the legs. They really don't have any articulation at all, but he's got a shoulder rotation. I don't know if I'd call it, he's got a second joint there. I'm not right there where maybe the bicep would intersect, and it can move in and out. He's got rotation at the elbow and up and down at the elbow, and that's pretty much going to cover his articulation. But of course, one of the coolest things about this toy is, of course, he moves just like he did in base mode. This time, he walks towards you. I'll go ahead and shoot it on the side. And as you can see, he's walking forward. You gotta love that. I mean, you don't see that at all in modern Transformers. I just love that. Now, incidentally, this is actually the Takara reissue. This is not a original G1 Omega. And as you can see, he's got a face. Now, the original G1 toy did not have a face like that. It was just plain, and I really like that touch. I think that's a actually big improvement over the original G1 mold. It was just a slight change that they made. Plus, they have the Autobot symbol here. That's actually not a sticker. That's actually painted on detail, and I love that touch as well. I really think they did a great job on that reissue. They made some improvements to it, and I just really, really like G1 Omega Supreme quite a bit. If you can find them for a decent price on the secondary market, either the original or the reissue, I can't hesitate to recommend to pick them up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show off the Platinum Edition Year of the Snake Omega Supreme. Of course, he absolutely towers over G1 Omega Supreme. Now, there's another toy that's out right now called Planet Genesis. That's basically a war for Cybertron Omega Supreme. Now, I don't know size comparison to this guy because I don't have that toy, nor do I plan on getting it due to its cost. It's running $300 right now, and that is a lot of coin to spend on a figure. And just quite frankly, I don't have $300 to put on a toy like that. So I tried doing some searches to see if I could see photo galleries of the two toys together, and I wasn't able to. But I did, of course, see the photo where Project Genesis is holding this guy in his hand, but that doesn't mean he's a much bigger toy. I think they're actually roughly the same size. Anyway, moving on to the toy himself, he's actually got a pretty good amount of articulation for a toy this size. On his legs, they go forward and back, bends at the knee, and they go in and out a little bit. They don't rotate. He doesn't have any sort of waist articulation due to his transformation. His arms, in and out, bends at the elbow, rotates. Same thing on the other arm for articulation. Now, one thing that's cool about this arm is this is actually remolded from the original Energon toy. And it's much more G1-esque, and it can spin, which is pretty cool. And each one of these fingers actually has 2 points of articulation. You have one, zoom in here for you, see a little bit better. Bear with me, a little bit of shaky cam in this, but he's a big figure and he's hard to really show off everything. Anyway, we got 1 point there in the base, kind of, and then 1 point on the finger itself. So each one of those has 2 points. There's 4 of them. My only nitpick about that, I wish they were orange like the original G120 instead of black, but such is life. My other nitpick about this figure, I actually have, I guess, 2 more. I wish that was a cannon instead of whatever that's supposed to be. And I think his head is an awesome resculpt, redo of what the original Energon toy was. I don't have the original Energon toy, but I've seen it, and I never really much cared for the head. This head is awesome. The only complaint I have about it is the fact that I think it's just kind of small. It could definitely be larger for the toy than what it is, but it's a minor nitpick, and I just love the way this looks. I mean, this is just a great looking head. And one cool thing is, his little helmet piece comes up, so if he wants to have a conversation with one of his comrades, no big deal. So that is just, I absolutely love that head sculpt. I can't stress that enough. In fact, I think this figure is absolutely great, and it's available right now for $100 from both Amazon and Big Bad Toy Store. I definitely recommend you pick them up from either one of those retailers. Now, there is one detail on this guy that I find kind of amusing. He has the fold-out guns that I demonstrated in his vehicle mode, but they also fold out in his robot mode, and they're kind of in an unfortunate part on his body right here, because these fold down, and, well, we got wiener guns, or dual wieners. Yes, I know that's incredibly immature, but I just had to point that out. And on the back, we got the same thing. We got the butt guns. Yeah, I know. Extremely immature, but it makes me laugh. Anyway, but to get back to the toy, it's just, he's an awesome toy. I really like this guy a lot. He definitely scratches the Omega Supreme itch. I mean, like the recolor and the remold of that toy, I mean, it was just a great idea that they had, and I'm really glad they put this thing out there. And that's pretty much going to wrap up their robot modes. And like I said, I recommend you pick both of these guys up if you can. There's no reason not to. They're both great toys. Highly recommended. And I will be back to conclude this thing with a little addendum here with Year of the Snake combined with Energon Prime. Alright guys, here's that bonus part that I promised you. I've got Omega Supreme here combined with Energon, aka Fatimus Prime. And honestly, I think this looks pretty bad for a number of reasons. Number one, there's a major problem, as you can see near the head. I'm going to go ahead and just move this guy closer into frame so I can focus in on what I think are his problem issues just a little bit here. Obviously, as you can see on his head, that looks absolutely terrible. Now, the reason it looks that way is because this piece doesn't detach. It did detach on the original Energon toy, which I don't have, but I do know the head came fully off. So when you combined with Optimus Prime, this wasn't an issue on the original toy, but it's definitely an issue on this toy. And quite frankly, it looks, in my opinion, horrible. Now you can mitigate this a little bit by taking this piece off and moving that up. That way it maybe looks like he has, I don't know, a missile pod or something there. But still, in my opinion, just isn't a very good look. Plus, I am just not a fan of the this Optimus head sculpt. It looks to me, honestly, this Optimus has kind of always looked to me, when you have his other second head piece on him, that looks like he's kind of wearing a hairdryer. So I just don't find it to be a very attractive look for him. But it's good to know the options there if you do like it. And that's pretty much going to, of course, wrap this whole thing up. I definitely would recommend 100%. I'm just going to stress this again. You get this toy if you like Omega Supreme. It's definitely worth picking up. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I will see you next time.